local station.
Guess who's back? Back again.
This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
I'm back.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on a Monday morning. Hard to believe, Mark, it was 2 weeks ago today that we had our press conference announcing this show is going to start. So we've been in operation. It's our 10th day now.
Wow.
And we're going to be real veterans of this thing. We keep working this long enough, we might be able to do it okay in the long run.
But who's counting?
Mark McKenzie here this morning, 8:05, and it is 19 degrees outside right now. I just walked out in Brooks Robinson Plaza. Yeah, it's 19. Okay. It's 19.
It's definitely cold, but not like it was when we started.
No, it was not. Hey, by the way, if you want to win a Capital Region golf cart or have a chance to win one, just text us in the show, 833-478-4729. That's something new. We're going to get used to using it. It's a brand new thing, our text line. And we can be much more interactive now. Some people have asked about what about phone lines to call in. We'll eventually get those. We're working on those. It's just taking a little bit longer than we thought it would. But we'll have the ability for you to call in eventually. So please just be patient with us as we continue forward in a brand new venture here. You can also find all of our podcasts on WOYK YouTube later on today. And you can answer my question of the day about the living wage, which is on Gary Sutton Show up on Facebook right now. And don't forget our website at 989WOYK.com. Lots to think about this morning. And one of the things that we talk about a lot, and I think we all appreciate, is what our veterans have done for our country over the years. These are the heroes that walk among us, or in some cases ride among us, and we'll talk about what that means here in a moment. But Matt Corwin is one of those veterans, and with the York Vets Network, and we wanted to find out this morning about what some of these veterans groups do, what are some of the needs that they have, some of the things that they're doing in terms of raising money for other veterans. And Matt Corwin's here this morning to talk about that. Matt, an honor to have you aboard. Good morning to you, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you, Gary. It's a privilege to be on your show this morning.
Well, it's a privilege to have you this morning. So tell me all about the York Vets Network. I want to hear about it today and what you guys are doing out there to make things better for vets and just maybe get together and share some common ground.
So the York Vet Network is a communication device with all the veterans nonprofits in York County. And York County is one of the best counties to be a veteran in because York County really puts their veterans first. So some of the things... Oh, go ahead, Gary.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, what are some of those things specifically that you do for veterans and some of these groups that kind of come together underneath this one umbrella?
So, well, tomorrow we have a military food share. So we are serving about 150 veterans who are in low financial need that need food. So there are 5 military food shares in York County. So that's one event. We have service dogs with covered 6 canines. Then we have Leg Up Farm, Glen Hope Farm. These are farms, areas where veterans can go and do farming, butchering, collecting eggs to help surplus their food supply. But also, it really is a great way to recover from PTSD, depression, anxiety, and those kind of issues. We have lots of fundraisers going on. We have a car show that raised over $100,000 last year. This year is going to be May 24th. We have a new venture going on with a lot of these. We cope with York Revs. So this year, August 9th, we're doing a bike ride with the York Revs. So this is going to be a first venture. So we kind of use veteran groups to facilitate the event and help their businesses and so on, but also all the money goes to what we call the York Vet Outreach, which is a fundraising nonprofit, and then they raise the money, and then they deviate the money to the nonprofits in York County.
Matt, when you look at the needs right now of veterans, no matter where they come from, what are some of the biggest needs? You talk about PTSD, and we hear about that a lot of times. And people sometimes say, I don't know if that's that big a deal. It is a big deal. Talk about what PTSD does and how you can deal with that as a veteran.
Well, there's lots of different ways to deal with PTSD. Roots for Boots has this great program where they have the shot that helps to reset the brain. a lot of veterans, when you are a veteran, you live at a high anxiety way of life for 4 years. So even if you didn't see combat, but you've done other things, we're always on a hurry and go mentality. And after 4 years, that has an effect on your body. So even when veterans get out, even if they haven't seen combat or anything, the body is still at that high level. The body is, and the brain is going, well, I've got nothing to do because I'm looking for a job, I'm lower, and it has a hard time for veterans. Bruce Bart's Brigade, they do a lot with suicide awareness and everything else. We have about 22 veterans that actually commit suicide each day.
Yep.
So, we use the York County Veterans VA office. What a great staff Kevin Smyers, the director over there, has. I worked with them, had the privilege of working with them for 4 years. That's how I got into the vet network with all those connections. So you have those. The York Veterans Clinic there has a psychological ward on the second floor, so they can talk with veterans. We have free PTSD for combat-related veterans on Mondays at the York County office. It's always great to see all those guys come in. You can see the Vietnam vets come in early, and then you have a little bit of mix, and then you have the Afghanistan, Iraqi guys, my generation coming in the afternoon.
Right.
So horse therapy over at Leg Up Farm, that's another great thing. I have not had a chance to do that one yet. We're looking forward to trying it maybe sometime. So
you have a lot of members of the community who really kind of get in here. One of the things that I've heard from time to time, we're talking with Matt Corwin this morning from the York Vet Network, and you can find them, by the way, on Facebook at York Vet Network. Just go ahead and Google go ahead and put a search in like I did, and you see York Vet Network, all one word. But Matt, I've heard a lot of people say, if you haven't been in the military, you go overseas or you serve wherever your theater of action is, or whether it's combat or not. But the bottom line is you have a mission every day. Every day you're held accountable for getting things done. And every day you're held accountable for having a mission. And when you come back home to civilian life again, that kind of changes because not everybody has that same kind of thinking here in civilian life that you had in military life. And that becomes a real barrier, doesn't it?
Yes. And that's what I was kind of referring to earlier. We have this high intensity life. Then we come back. When I served for 22 years, and there was always a comment that once a Marine gets out, if they don't find something to do to keep them busy, they will pass away from a heart attack within 6 months.
Wow.
So if it's either suicide or just because they're sitting there and they're not used to that and the body can't take it. So yeah, you see a lot of veterans get out and they have to find something that, like you said, a passion, a purpose. So currently my wife and my passion purpose is York County veterans and how we can assist them in this kind of fashion. So some of them like to do funerals. We have a great York County Veterans Honor Guard that do the funerals for the majority of the veterans in York County. What a great group of guys. Some of them get involved with the Legions and VFWs. Those are other great sources. So,
what are the things that we can do, Matt? Again, we're talking with Matt Corwin from York Vet Network. What are the things that we could do as a community to appreciate beyond just saying thank you? I know you've heard that a million times, and so many times it sounds so like it's not enough. What can we do in terms of real action to help our vets, to help people, to help groups like the York Vet Network?
A huge thing, especially with the Vietnam era, you see this. When I see my Vietnam veteran buddies, I always go, hey, good to see you. They always respond back, hey, it's good to be seen. So one thing that really would help is to stop and listen to their stories.
Thank you.
We all have stories, and just to sit down and listen to. You have a big difference between the Vietnam era and the Afghanistan and Iraqi, because the Afghanistan and Iraqis, they want to tell their stories, but the Vietnam guys want to tell their stories too. So sometimes when they get together, it doesn't help them. Whereas if somebody sees somebody in a grocery store, I taught my kids at a young age, I don't usually wear military stuff, unless I'm promoting something. But I always go up and say, hey, thank you for your service. And my kids at a young age asked me, Dad, but you served too. I said, yeah, but they served before me. And you want to stop and have a story with them or listen to them. Hey, what did you serve? Where did you serve? How did you do? What did you do? What did you like the most? What did you not like the most? And just stop and listen to what they have to say. And even going into the nursing homes. I got the privilege to working with a lot of the nursing homes here in York County. We have a lot of veterans in those nursing homes. So if you have a day off, you just go pick one of the nursing homes and go in there and say, most of the nursing homes I see have veterans walls. So they have pictures of veterans on there. And they could just ask, hey, can I talk to a couple of veterans today? And they would just love that time and the experience. When my wife and I do that, it's a great payoff for the day.
Matt, I have never heard such good pragmatic advice as I'm hearing right now, because, one of the things that we talk about at our show is conversation. And, everybody wants to know they matter. And sometimes I think when our veterans come home from wherever they're serving, they sometimes feel like maybe society doesn't really care that they're home and they don't really matter. And I think that in itself, just letting people know, hey, I want to hear your story. And, it's good for us too, because we find out the history of someone. I can remember I was in fifth grade. I had to do a interview with a guy on either side of our house. And they were both elderly people, and they were told me stories that I would have not ever heard otherwise. And to this day, I still remember those stories, and they mean a lot. And I think for all of us, we want to know we matter. So be able to hear a story and be able to give a story and be able to have a conversation so there's not some of that loneliness that we hear about from time to time. Final thoughts this morning, Matt.
Oh, just to go off of what we're saying, it's all about relationships. We have to stop our hatred and those things that we're doing and just stop and see past that and build a relationship with your neighbors, with anybody that you're passing, a simple smile, a simple wave. Show that love that we all are craving for and missing.
Yeah, whether you're a veteran or just a regular person. But again, go on to Facebook, check out the York Vets Net, and Matt Corwin. I'm looking forward to talking to you again, my friend. Thank you for what you're doing. Just the simple things of having a conversation, but helping veterans out there. And you and your wife keep up that great passion because you're doing a great job. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you so much. Matt with us here this morning on WOYK. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We've got some more news under the radar. Maybe, just maybe even, some news you might have missed lurking around the corner as well. All here on WOYK. It's the Gary Sutton Show. You can text us at 833-478-4729. Don't forget our podcast, like the one with Matt Corwin here, will be up later on today at WOYK YouTube. You can check it out there and read it on your own time or hear it on your own time. And let us know what you think. We're always interested in what your comments are by going to our text right now. We'll have phones later on. 833-478-4729. I'm Gary Sutton, along with Mark McKenzie, back right after this. It is 8:17.